Question for you. If a fortune teller gave you an envelope and said that every detail of your life, including the date and time of your death, was written inside, would you read it? Hey philosophers, I'm Jonas, and this is Philosophy Friday, a place where we like to ask interesting questions that are hard to answer. Be sure to stick around to hear the question for next week so you can be part of the conversation. Also, we're a brand new channel. Find out how you can get your hands on some cool swag at the end of the video. Today's question. Would you want to know everything about your future? Would you want to know the date and time of your death? There's something incredibly tempting about knowing your future. Humans, especially us philosophers, are naturally curious. We want to know what's going to happen next, how long we had to achieve our goals, or if there's anything major we should prepare for. Imagine being able to plan your life down to the very last second. No more fear of the unknown, right? But knowing the exact date and time of your death could be either liberating or utterly terrifying. You might feel invincible until that moment arrives, or you could be paralyzed by the ticking clock, knowing that every second brings you closer to that inevitable end. What about the psychological impact that would have on us? Once you know the details, there's no going back. You can't just forget about your impending death. Some people wouldn't want to know because it would be a burden knowing when you'll die, and it'll likely make you depressed. So would you live your life differently if you knew when it would end? Would you take more risk because you could get away with it? Or is it possible that you would try to prevent the inevitable with extra caution? And then there's the question of how it would affect your relationships. If you have less time, you might feel like you missed out or got short-shafted, making you feel bitter or envious towards others. Which brings up the question, who would you tell? If your friends and family knew when you'll die, would that change the way they treat you? Or how you treat them? Could you handle the pressure of knowing something so profound that it might change the course of your entire life? As with any hypothetical question, there are different scenarios we need to consider. Are we able to change our actions so the written date and time are no longer accurate? If so, does the time in the envelope update, or does it stay the same, but now it's incorrect? Let's say the date is static, and there is nothing we can do to change it. No matter what, you'll die then. On the one hand, you might live with the knowledge for years and years. Your death date is far into your old age. This might change your actions, perhaps lead you to taking more risks. If you dive out of an airplane while knife fighting a great white shark, you're sure to walk away, if not unscathed, at least alive. But on the other hand, maybe you'll learn you're going to die in just a matter of weeks. This would probably also change the way you act. Many people who get troubling news try to spend more time with family and friends in order to get the most out of the time they have left. Maybe you'd want to know, because whether you have a month or several decades, you know how best to use your time. But maybe knowing would just lead to fear. You might even feel that the pain you suffer from the anxiety is worse than actually dying. Interesting. Whether you'd read the letter or not, it says right here that you liked the video and that you subscribed, so thanks. Let's see what our community has to say. Jess Hernandez writes, wouldn't read it, and says on Threads, there's a lot of things in my life I don't think I would have tried if I had known how they'd work out, but I'm still grateful I've had those experiences. Ignorance leaves space for hope. I can't tell you how much I love that phrase. Also from Threads, Crazy DeSo writes, I'm not sure that knowing bad things or that a shortened life were ahead of me would be helpful to me in my day-to-day life. Dio Baldwin asks, would I live my life differently if I knew when I would die? Honestly, I like not knowing my future. If my life were a book, I'm writing my story one line at a time as it comes. Ruth D. Ray writes on Instagram, I wish I was a person who could look and trust objectively and then choose to live my life fully amid the good and bad. I think the expectation of bad would cripple me. So if I did open the letter, even being the type of person I am, who would then wallow in the sorrows even before they came, rather than enjoy the good when it was present, would the letter then not have as much good in it as a result? Jellofellow writes on Threads, if it was detailed, I don't think I'd read it. Knowing about any good details that were sure to happen would probably dull their positive impact, and knowing about any bad details would probably make me obsess over them and not be able to enjoy the good moments. This is all reliant, though, on the assumption that anything you read from the envelope is set in stone, destined to happen no matter what, that sort of thing. So it seems that most people would prefer leaving the message unread. Enough of you felt that it would affect your relationships or behaviors that it wouldn't be worth it. In fact, on the messages we received, no one said they would open it, except me. For me, this was a no-brainer, which is pretty unusual for me. Of course I'd want to know. I'd want to know if I should stop doing some of the currently necessary but unfulfilling tasks, like a job or taking out the trash. And do the things I enjoy, like spending time with my family. On the other hand, if I knew I had a long time left, I could better prepare for the future. I know how long I'd be able to work, so I could plan how much to save for retirement. So what do you think? Would you want to know the date and time of your death? Comment below what you would do. While you're there, you can post your answer to next week's question in the pinned comment, and you might be featured on next week's video. Here's the question. If someone were born with or developed superpowers, is there a moral imperative on their part to use those powers to help others? If you like this video, then join our conversation and tell us what you think. It's people like you that make these videos possible, and the best way to keep this community going is by joining the discussion in the comments or one of our social media accounts. Links below. Next week's question one more time. If someone were born with or developed superpowers, is there a moral imperative for them to use their powers to help others? I can't wait to hear your answers. Thanks for watching, and keep questioning. I wanted to take a moment and show you some of the awesome swag we have for Philosophy Friday. There are polo shirts like this one, hoodies, mugs, notebooks, and t-shirts like this one. I absolutely love this t-shirt of Socrates on a half pipe. You can see all the awesome swag that Philosophy Friday has available. Just click on the link to the store at philosophyfriday.com. Also, to celebrate the launch of Philosophy Friday, we're giving out free memberships where you can get discounts and free swag. So you can get yourself the same t-shirt for free if you win. To enter, subscribe and fill out the form. There's a link in the description. And comment on videos. You'll be entering into a drawing to win one of 15 different Philosophy Friday memberships worth up to $300. The earlier you enter, the more chances you have to win. Winners will be announced on the channel and via email. See the rules and the form to fill out in the description.